Howdy, folks. Frank KG6NW here, and today I'm going to show you some of the newer but still dated Motorola gear that I have that can be used in ham radio. Stay tuned for more. So on the desk here, I have three radios. They are some of the newest of the Motorola radios that one can get for a decently reasonable price, all things considered. This is the Apex 4000 radio, which this one and the Apex 7000, which is this one here, were both released between 2009 and now. This little tiny guy is the XPR 3500. Compared to these two, this one does analog and DMR. These two do strictly analog and P25. This one, the XPR 3500, the XPR series came out in June of 2012 is when the XPR 3500 series started coming out. The Apex series radios had already been out for a little bit. I'm going to also do a very brief and quick overview of programming of these radios and how to do them. This radio is a strictly 700 megahertz only radio, so it is receive only. This Apex 7000 is a dual band radio. It covers both VHF and 7800. So I can switch between listening to, say, California Department of Transportation's or Caltrans on one channel and the railroad on the next channel, or even the hams. Who knows? So that's there. And XPR 3500 is strictly UHF based only. I use this whenever you hear me on DMR. Without further ado, let's get all three of these turned on.
Gate 1700. Gate Emerald Primary.
So, as you heard, the 700 told me what channel it's on. That is a voice feature that you can enable in the software if the radio has it, and you can set it to
Gate Emerald Alternate.
whatever.
Gate Violet Primary.
That way I can tell what channel I'm on without actually looking at the radio. Same can be said for the Apex 7000 radio. So let's switch over to the programming. So here we are in the programming for the 7000 radio. I have a lot of zones. And if you watched my programming how to for the XTS 5000 series radios, it is somewhat similar to that. You program your conventional personality in, well, first with the Apex series, you have to make a conventional system based on certain settings that you want. Again, this is going to run a little slow here because it's not meant for this computer. Uh, you can tell it is how do you want to have your PTT done? Is it Astro, MDC, or Quick Call? What features are enabled? Most of them you don't have to worry about. And then you go into your conventional personality. Now, this is where you add your frequencies and stuff like that. You can then come down into zones, put in all your frequency information. So, in your conventional personality area of the Apex software, this is where you can program in your channel name and your frequencies. And then you'll want to come down to your zones and you create the zone you want. As you can see, I have 35 different zones covering a lot of mostly California stuff. And this is where it gets a little tricky if you're not used to the Apex software. So once you're in the Apex software, you have to choose the personality that you want to use. So For me, in this zone, it's all CHP 700 in GG or Golden Gate. I could choose Valley if I wanted to. You choose that, and then you choose the conventional frequency. And that is based on the input of what you put in up in the personalities earlier. So you choose which channel that way it is. So you choose your personality selection and then your frequency selection here. And then you can put in the name. And if your radio has a top display like this one does, you can put in a very short name top display as well. Now, this is where you put in your channel announcements. Those are how the voices are done. But that is how to do that is a video for another time. If you are interested in that video, leave a comment below and let me know, and I'll see what I can do about getting a video made. So that is how you very easily program these two radios right here. Nice, simple, easy way to program. Now, let's switch over to the XPR radio and show you how easy that one is. So you read, and of course, with all these radios, read your radio first. Do not try and start from scratch. Read the radio first and go from there, because the CPS software here needs to know what kind of radio it is, what the band plan is, what features it has, and it reads all that. So you come up here to device and read, and you read that radio, or over here again, device, read device, it'll pull all that information, and then you get all the general settings, everything that you need to know about your radio right here. This is a sample code plug that I pulled up. It shows you all the information, what you have for device features right here. Absolutely fantastic. Now you come down here to channels. You create a zone. So you right click channels, add an zone, or control and F2. And there's your zone. Now here, you can right click and go and add an analog channel or add a digital channel. Digital channels for DMR, analog channel, obvious, analog. So we're going to add an analog channel. You can then name it, and let's add a digital channel. That way we have one of each in here. So now that we've added one of each, you come back over here to the tree and you click on channel 3, which was the first analog channel I added. You set in your receive parameters, you set in your transmit parameters, or if everything is the same across, fun fact, because this one's UHF, you just put in a 5 and it'll copy it over. So 403 becomes 408. So let's put in a DPL of 632, right? And signaling, you don't have to worry about signaling, as we discussed in other videos. That is mostly for us tech nerds and for those that actually run Motorola systems. So we have the frequency 40. Let's make this 443025. So let's just say it's a repeater, DPL code of 632. I have an offset of 5 megahertz, and we hit copy. Now the transmit is 448025, DPL 632. Down here is where you set your power level. If you want to talk around, so that's where you talk on the output. You talk 443 instead of 448. You select allow talk around. Now you do have to assign a button for that. I will show you that in a minute. This is where you select what scan list from over here that you created to scan with. Now let's go into digital channel. Digital is pretty much the same thing. Let's go 441.0215, right? And it's plus 5 megahertz. So it'll take that up to 446. Now, here is where you need to fill in a bit of information for your digital contacts for, let's say, DMR. You need to come over here to contacts and digital. Now, call one, let's say that is the Toads Talk group, okay? So I rename that Toads. And you can do this one two ways. You can select Toads, or from the digital route here, you can select the call ID, put in 3192083. So now that's Toads. You then come down here to receive group lists, and there's only digital. I mean, you can add as many as you want here, but it's only digital, and we're gonna name this Toads as well. And we want the Toads member is already added in there because it was the call one, so that's all set up. So now we come back down to our digital channel, channel 4. Let's rename that too. We're going to name that Toads as well. That way we know, hey, that's the Toads channel. You want to select the group list. You want to tell it to go to Toads. You want to select the contact name. You want to tell it to go to Toads. Go to Toads. Say that 5 times fast, why don't you? With that, and set the color code and the repeater time slot for whatever you have set up on probably your hotspot, because let's face it, that's where most people are these days. You can then hit save and save it whatever you want to save it as, and then write it to your device. And then just like that, oh look, Toad Seedale, because that's what I have it named as in my radio, because that's for Cloverdale, and that's the Toads channel. So if I were to key up, Kilo Golf 6 November Lima Whiskey on Toads. And let's switch over to the Brandmeister display. And we do a search, add rule, destination ID 319. I had it right the first time, 2083. We do a search and we hit play. Hey, look, 52 seconds ago, I came in on my repeater here in Cloverdale. So I will show this to you again just to show you. We're just going to pretend that I just programmed this radio up, okay? We're going to pretend I just programmed this up. And Kilo Golf 6 November Lima Whiskey on Toads Digital. And as you can see there, I was keyed up for 7 seconds or 9 seconds, and I came across the Toads Digital channel. So you see how easy it is to program these radios, and it's a piece of cake. And after you do that a couple times, all 3 of these radios are a piece of cake to program. So I hope this small little video on the APX series and the XPR series radios was informative and delightful. If you have any questions about any of these radios and any of the other radios I've spoken about in this Motorola series, feel free to drop a comment below in any of the videos. If you just happen to stumble across this video and you like it, please smash that subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button to tell YouTube that you like this content. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. Until next time, 73, ham harder, and hold on, y'all. So, I hope this small little video on the XPR and the